Hi students, today we are starting the third module of Applied Thermodynamics, that is vapor power cycles. The syllabus contains mainly two portions. First portion we are discussing regarding the ideal cycle, that is Carnot vapor power cycles, and we are discussing the drawbacks of that cycle. Then the practically used vapor power cycle, especially which is used in the steam power plants, that is the Rankine cycle. First we discuss the simple Rankine cycles, its analysis, Sties diagram and comparison with the Carnot cycle. Then in the second part we are discussing the actual vapor power cycle and the modifications of the ideal cycle by regenerative reheat cycles, and we are discussing the characteristics of ideal working fluids in the vapor power cycles. This is the content of the syllabus for the third module. In this session we are mainly discussing these topics. One, it is Carnot vapor power cycles. Second one, its drawbacks. Then the simple Rankine cycles, its description and analysis. That is the content of this discussion. This one regarding the Carnot vapor power cycle. Just like our previous discussion that you can remember, we discussed regarding power cycles, that is the gas power cycles, in the first and second modules. In the gas power cycles, it's a cyclic operation which contains four processes, and finally we will get work output or power. It's power producing cycles. Here the only difference is we are using a cyclic process where the working fluid is vapor, or it is a two-phase. We have a gaseous phase and we have a liquid phase in the cycle. So just like the previous cycles, power cycles, we start with the Carnot cycles. So Carnot cycle is the basic cycle, or it is the cycle used for comparing the actual processes. So you can see the TS diagram here. The difference between the TS diagram for a vapor cycle and a gas cycle is we have a vapor dome here. You can see the vapor dome here. In this vapor dome, we already discussed in our basic thermodynamics, this line is the saturated liquid line, and we have a critical point here, and we have the saturated vapor line. So here it is liquid, here it is liquid plus vapor, and outside this we have pure vapor. So that is a phase change, and the cycle is always inside the vapor dome where we have liquid plus vapor transition here, and the processes in the cycle are similar to that of the Carnot cycle we already discussed for the gas power cycles. So the process 1, 2, it is a constant temperature process or isothermal process, and Carnot cycle all the processes are reversible, so reversible isothermal heat addition process, that is a 1, 2 process. So this process generally occur inside a boiler. We'll discuss that in detail later. And 2, 3, in this process it is a isentropic process, or it is reversible adiabatic process, or it is isentropic process. Entropy remains same. So 2, 3 is an expansion process which is occurring in the turbine, and 3, 4 it is again a constant temperature process, or it is isothermal, reversible isothermal process where heat is rejected. This is occurring inside a condenser where the heat is rejected. And last process 4-1, that is compression process. It is an isentropic compression process. Entropy remains same, or reversible adiabatic compression process inside a compressor. So these are the four processes occurring in the Carnot vapor power cycle. Already we discussed the same process. We have two isothermal process, we have two isentropic process. That is the happening both the process, all the four processes are reversible. And this is the schematic of the Carnot vapor power cycle. The first one, we have a boiler here. You can see the boiler here. Boiler generally takes the heat from the outside. We have gas, or we have electricity, or we have some fuels. It may be diesel or it may be firewood. We have to burn it and give the heat to the water which is boiling inside the boiler. And different types of boiler it's working, and that it's already discussed in the first year subject EME. You can remember that how a boiler works. And this boiler, after taking the heat from a high temperature source, it's a high temperature reservoir, the water boils and steam is produced. This high pressure, high temperature steams moves to the turbine. This is a turbine. Turbine is the power producing device. We will get a power output here. You can see the power output from the turbine. So this high pressure vapor expands and it reduces its pressure, and after that the heat is rejected inside the condenser at a low temperature, and the condensate liquid is pumped back to the boiler again. We have a pumper, we have a compressor we can use here. So pump or compressor, whatever it may be, we can use. So this is the schematic of the diagram, and you can see the same schematic. Once again it is explained. You can see the turbine here, work is produced W turbine, and pump work is used. The difference will give the net work, and we have heat in this boiler part, and this is the condenser part. So I already explained here what is happening here. High temperature heat addition, and here the expansion work, fluid expansion of the working fluid. So work is produced. Here it is low temperature heat rejection process in the condenser, and we have the work input to the compressor, working fluid. Compressor, we are using a pump for pump the liquid. And the Carnot vapor power cycle, the efficiency is given by work output divided by net supplied. So W net divided by Q1. Q1 is the heat supplied at a high temperature. So we have the equation 1 minus TL by TH, where TL is the low temperature reservoir. Temperature of the low temperature reservoir overheat is rejected, and TH is the high temperature reservoir temperature from where heat is added. So this is the efficiency of the Carnot cycle. We already discussed the same relation. There is no difference between that, but only thing need to remember is that the performance, this efficiency value of a Carnot cycle is independent of the working fluid. So in the previous session we discussed the Carnot cycle with gas or air. In this session we are discussing the same Carnot cycle with vapor. That is the difference. So same equation, we got 1 minus TL by TH irrespective of the working fluid. The Carnot cycle gives the efficiency. So we can use any working fluid there without changing it. So this cycle is used as the reference cycle for the vapor power cycles. So there are some drawbacks regarding this cycle. So we have the TS diagram of the cycle here. You can see the TS diagram. Previously explained the same TS diagram. We have the 4 process 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4 and 4, 1. In this, the process 1, 2 and 4, 3, it is generally easily we can achieve, because it is a heat addition process at a constant temperature, and 4-3 is a heat rejection process at a constant temperature. So that processes can be achieved. It is very easy to achieve, and you can see here the maximum temperature possible is the critical temperature, because we can lift the temperature up to this critical value, because here inside this dome we have liquid plus vapor state, or it is a mixed phase, two-phase state. But after this the state is different. So we have single phase only. So always the limit is here, that is a critical temperature is 374 degrees Celsius for water. So that is the maximum possible temperature for that. By limiting this maximum temperature, the thermal efficiency also limits, because we have the equation 1 minus TL by TH. So high temperature is limited here. So high temperature limited means the efficiency is also limits. And if we try to increase this value, because if we can go here or you can go here, and after this it will be single phase only. This region will be single phase region, so we can't go beyond this critical point. So this will be a single phase, and which is in a single phase process, the isothermal operation is not easily achievable. That is a major issue regarding the Carnot cycle. If we go beyond this point, the isothermal condition is not achieved, because as the temperature increases, as the heat is added, the temperature is increased here. That is the condition. The temperature will goes on increasing as we add the heat. But in mixed region, inside this vapor dome, as we add the heat also, temperature we can keep constant. That is possible. So that is the first cycle. You can see here again the same thing is explained here. The maximum temperature is limited here. This is the critical point. So beyond that, if it is moving, it is a single phase region. So this process is not easily achieved in a single phase region, because as the heat is added, the temperature goes on increasing. That is the case there. The second condition regarding the Carnot cycle is the expansion process. 4-3. First we discuss the process 1-2. So the maximum is here. Second one is the expansion process 4-3. So expansion process the expansion process 2-3. That is the second process. First we discuss 1-2. So the heat addition process. Second one is the expansion process 2-3. So we are using a turbine here. So inside a turbine, we can achieve, or we can closely achieve isentropic condition. But the major issue regarding the process is this point 3. It's a quality of steam. We discussed already X value, quality of steam X. So this X value will be, you can check here, after expansion, this point is in the mixed region. That means at the end of the expansion process, the turbine blades have some liquid content inside there. So liquid content or liquid droplets moving inside to the turbine blades cause erosion, and that will be a major source of the wear. It will damages the blade. So the steam with quantities less than 90% or 0.9 X value, nearly 0.9, cannot be tolerated in the operation of the power plant. So this 0.23 expansion process is possible inside a turbine, but still we have a difficulty here. At the end of this process, the liquid entry, chance of liquid entry into the turbine is still there. That can be avoided for the safe operation of the turbine. So this process 2-3 is difficult to achieve in a practical case, and we can eliminate this problem by using a working fluid with a very steep saturated vapor line. So this saturated vapor line will be steep in this manner. It's a wider line, broader it is. So if it is very steep, means we can achieve here, it will goes nearly, if the line goes in this way, or if the line is moves, it is steep inside, means here in this way you can draw the line. So as the line will become steep, this value will approach nearly 90 or about 90%. So that can be possible. And the third problem is regarding the process 4-1. 4-1 is the compression process. Here also you can see that this 0.4 is in the mixed region. It is more liquid and very less vapor. Its quality is very less. So two-phase compression is in the process 4-1. So two difficulties associated with this. First one, it is not easy to control the condensation process. So specifically it has to end up with the desired coordinate state 4. So here it is very difficult, and second one, it is not practical to design a compressor that handles two phases. Generally, just like the turbine also, the compressors are designed for handling only one phase, generally preferring the vapor phase. And if the liquid content is there, we are using a pump for pumping the liquid content, pressurizing the liquid. So that is the difficulty regarding the process for one. So here H1. So if you know the pressure value, so pressure line, this is a pressure line. See, this is a pressure line for the condenser pressure. If you know the pressure value for that pressure, what is the saturated point? This pressure line will make the saturated liquid line. So here you will get the enthalpy values. S1 is there, is S1, or if you draw the TH diagram or pH diagram, we will get the enthalpy value, H value. So here you will get S1 value. That is a point corresponding to the pressure, condenser pressure, and the saturated liquid line means, or it's HF at P. HF at, you can see HF at P1 and VF at P1 or V, my specific volume value. That is the case. Second one, it is a boiler. The work done is equal to 0. There is no work involved, only heat transfer only. So Q in is equal to H3 minus H2. Again, you can refer the TS diagram. You can find the enthalpy values corresponding to these 2 points. For the turbine, again, we have heat transfer is equal to 0. There is only work transfer, and we have H3 minus H for the condenser. Again, work transfer is equal to 0. There is no work involved, only heat transfer only. So Q out is equal to H4 minus H1. So the thermal efficiency of Rankine cycle is W net by Q in. For any power producing cycle, this is the efficiency output by input. Output is the net work that we require, or work produced from the cycle, and Q in is the input to the cycle. What is 1 minus Q out by Q in? We know that equation. So what is Q out, what is Q in, that we have to analyze.